Hello, grade 7. So I'm just doing this little video to show you a little bit about how to do the calculations for our stock portfolio assignment, and also just give you some general tips on where to find some of this information in case you missed class or you were having trouble following in class today. So first thing you need to open up is your workspace for your stock market integers project. Inside the workspace, you'll have absolutely everything you need for this project. We're going to be focusing on the stock portfolio. So that's what you actually hand in for the project outline, which will help you get initially set up with your stocks, and then this daily stock prices, which will help you track your stocks from day to day. So first thing you want to open up is this stock portfolio assignment. So it'll look like this. You can put your name in, you can put your homeroom, and then you're setting up your initial investment. So you're deciding on the companies that you are going to choose for this project. The companies that you have to choose from are in your outline. So if we go back to the workspace, that's this link here, the project outlines. When you click on that, this opens up, gives you some general dates for the assignment, and then it also gives you the companies that you can choose from. So for this assignment, you are supposed to choose 2 larger companies from this list and 1 penny stock from this list as part of your investments. Now, this is set up so that any of these, when you click on them, it gives you a link to the Google Finance page for that particular company, so you can see how they've been doing over the past day or year or month, just to see if you think it would be good to invest, just some background information about how the company's been doing on the stock market thus far. So I'm going to show you today how we're setting up our stocks initially. I'm only doing 1 as an example, but you are supposed to be choosing 3 companies. And when you add up these total investments here, it should not exceed this $10,000 limit that was given to you. So just because it's something that most of you are familiar with, I've chosen Amazon as the one that we're going to do as the example. So in my project outline, Amazon is here. So this is where I got that information. This code is what you can use to track your stocks for Amazon. And then this is that initial cost price that we said was the cost that you would pay for the stocks. We got this value from the closing costs on October 11th when we initially talked about this assignment. So this amount is what's going in here under the original stock price, the price that you paid for it. Number of shares, that's something you decide. So you're deciding how many shares in Amazon you're going to purchase. Now, Amazon's a pretty expensive stock, so I'm only going to purchase 2. Anything more than that would be a pretty substantial part of my portfolio. So I'm just choosing 2. Now I need to calculate the total investment. So we're going to bring up our calculator here just so you can follow along with what calculations I'm doing. And I am going to be taking my original stock price and I'm going to multiply that by the number of shares I purchased, which in this case is 2. And that number that we get here, this $3,454.42, is the total amount that I'm investing in Amazon. So I'm going to put that in here. It's always good to put in your units. And now we need to take that and round it to the nearest whole integer. So we'll just round that right there. So I'm going to do this with 2 other companies for a total of 3 companies. And when I add up these total investments, I'm not going to exceed this amount of money. And that's my initial setup. So once I have them set up, now I need to figure out how am I going to track them from day to day to see how have my stocks done over the next 2 weeks. So that's this. These company reports are where we're going to track our stocks from day to day. So each company has their own company report. So there would be company 2 and company 3, but I'm just going to give you the example using company 1. So the first thing we need to do is write in the name of the company. So I've already written in Amazon there. You're going to write the total number of stocks that you've purchased and then the total amount that you've invested in the company round. So again, these all come from here, your calculations from up here. Once we have that, we can start putting values into this table. So this would actually be blank for you. So So we would put in the initial value that we paid on October 11th for our stocks. So that would be up here, and that also came from your project outline. So we're going to type that value in, so $1,727.21. Now we need to figure out what was the cost on the 21st at closing. So this is not something that you have to look up on your own in terms of going on Google Finance and figuring out what the closing costs were. Your teachers are going to look into that information for you, and they're going to tweet out the information they want you using. So where we get that information, or how we find out how much our stocks closed at, is again in the workspace. There's this link called Daily Stock Prices, and this really just links to your teacher's Twitter page. So regardless of what class you're coming from, it'll open up to a page that would have the Twitter information, the stock information in Twitter. So I made a mistake today when I was tweeting out October 21st. I actually tweeted two of the same picture when I meant to tweet the penny stocks as well here. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So I meant to tweet that all in one tweet. So in the future, there would just be one tweet for every day. But for October 21st, unfortunately, they're separated by the larger companies and the penny stocks. So what you're going to do is when you open up Twitter, you go to the day that you're looking for, and you're going to look at what those closing costs were. So we've already narrowed it down to only the companies that we're working with for our assignment. And you just look for your code. So I'm going to look for Amazon, which is right here. And it says here that on the 21st, it closed at $1,785.66. So I'm going to put that value in here. There. And that's how much it closed on the 21st. So once we have that information, we need to figure out how much it's changed in our stock price from the previous entry. So if this number here has gone up from the previous entry, so if this number is larger than this one, then we know that we had a profit. We made money off of our stock. If this number is less than the number that came before it, then we've unfortunately lost money on that stock. So good for us, Amazon is, this number is larger, so Amazon has made money. It's gone up. So how we figure out how much it's made is we have to look at the change in the stock price. So we're taking the value here and we're subtracting the value that came before. So on the 22nd, same thing. You would take whatever the value is and you would subtract the day before. So it's always the day before, or the entry before, because over here is the week. So it would be this one minus the one that came before. So we'll go back to our calculator and we'll do these calculations just so you can see what I'm doing here. So we're going to take today, or the 21st's closing costs, and we're going to take away the 11th. That difference is going to be how much either we've made or lost depending on the scenario. So in this case, we made $58.45 per stock, which is pretty awesome. Now we want to know in total what was our profit or loss. So in this case, because I made money here, this was an increase or a positive value, it's going to be a profit that I have here. And how I figure out my total profit is I'm multiplying my change in stock price by the amount of shares I actually purchased. So in Amazon, I bought 2 shares. So I'm going to take this value that I made per stock and I'm going to multiply it by the fact that I have two shares in Amazon to get a total amount of $116.90. So that's how much I made. So we can even put a little plus here for profit. And then the last step is I just need to round my profit. So round this to $117. Now, sometimes it can get kind of messy here with these units in here. So if you would rather not have to include units every time, you can put the units at the top here to show that this is all dealing with money. Even here as well, if you like, just to be clear with your units. So you're going to be doing this every day, again, with the exception of the weekends, for each one of your stocks. So I would do this with Amazon and my other 2 that I've chosen. And at the end of all of this whole table will be filled in with data, and then we can start to analyze and see how much money we made overall in the 2 weeks, and just kind of look at our profit and loss during that time. So I hope this helps. I hope that this gives you some insight onto what you either missed in class, or maybe if you just weren't sure what you were doing, gives you another opportunity to go through it. That being said, though, anytime you feel like you're not sure what you're doing in this assignment, or you might need some extra help, all you have to do is go and see your math teacher and set up a time to come in at lunch and just go through things, make sure that you're on the right track. Don't get behind with this stuff. Make sure you're on top of it. If you do a little bit each day, then it won't be an overwhelming assignment. So just make sure that you're keeping up with those deadlines. So good luck, and I hope you guys make some money in this process.